For years now, us Sims players have been asking for representation in packs and such, and the recent pack proves that obviously representation is not in the forefront of EA's mind. So if you guys have not heard or seen the recent pack release of the Royalty and Legacy Sims expansion pack, my first initial thoughts on that expansion pack were as simple as, wow. You first get introduced by these beautiful black Sims with different hairstyles and cultures and such, and then it quickly shifts to a whole nother point of view, which is really interesting for a Sims pack in general because we have had multiple other packs that had different types of cultures and backgrounds in them, but this is the first quote unquote African American pack, expansion pack, that quite literally has to share with a different race. Meaning we're getting quite literally the bare minimum of this pack. Instead of getting a whole pack, expansion pack dedicated to African American culture and black people all together, this pack literally lets us know that this doesn't just have anything to do with just African Americans, but it also has to do with other people of different races, which is pretty interesting for EA because none of these other packs that we've had previously had to share with other races, which Malcolm Rebi is a great example of having an inspired Japanese aesthetic for a game pack, which was all surrounding about Japan, its structure, backgrounds, ethnicity, race, all of that jazz. But when it comes to our first African American pack, it has to actively share with other races, which wouldn't have been such a problem if we hadn't have just gotten just basically scraps. We have been asking for years as a Sims community for more diversity, more inclusion of different races, cultures, and backgrounds. And when we finally get that, we barely do. We only get bits and pieces. And it's only now that they're trying to add different people of color, but they have to actively share it with other races. And that's where the issue comes in for a lot of people, including me. Now, obviously, me being a person of color myself, looking at that was already like a red flag to me because it lets me know that, of course, EA has been preaching for a while now that they want to be more inclusive and have more diversity in their game, and them having the bio will not remove that. But this expansion pack to me proves that. And the fact that people are trying to appraise and give EA their flowers for even attempting to make an African American based pack when it's not even completely centered around African American culture is beyond me, because it's people like them who will quite literally accept the bare minimum. They will accept the bare minimum of anything that EA throws at them and be happy with it. And for a lot of people, specifically the Black community of the Sims community, are definitely upset about this because what do you mean a pack like this that is supposed to be revolved around Black culture and African Americans as a whole has to share with a different race? We already have multiple people of different races in different packs, but this is the first where African Americans don't get to shine on their own, or they can't stand on their own without another race or background or another culture kind of infiltrating that, which also makes me wonder what really is their goal here. I mean, with the whole bio happening, the fact that they're even still releasing packs and things like that is already kind of like, okay, you know, like this is really just not the time for that right now. But it's also the fact that people are still trying to justify it and say, well, at least you get something. But it's like, no. And I hate people how they always try to say, well, you're just being ungrateful or you're not being appreciative. How am I supposed to be grateful or appreciative of the bare minimum? It has taken EA years to include Black hairstyles, like African American hairstyles, African American skin tones. It has taken years for that to happen. Like, that hasn't happened in the span of 2 to 3 years of EA being released. Like, it has taken years since EA has first decided to make African American hairstyles. And even then, there's still a lot of African Americans in the Sims community that are still unable to make themselves in the Sims without having to use mods or CC, which is really unfortunate for a simulation game that is supposed to have different diversities of races and cultures and backgrounds and stuff like that. If you want to be able to make an accurate representation of an African American in your game, you're going to need a certain amount of CC. Like, there's just not enough content in the base game to do that. And most of the African American hairstyles are locked behind a paywall. Like, you need to pay in order to access that. Just with the base game alone, you are unable to make an accurate representation of yourself if you're an African American. And even back when EA was first released, there was obviously a lot of issues with diversity. There was not a lot of skin tones, hair types. There wasn't a lot of options to make different people. But it's the fact that it's taken years for EA to add an African American based expansion pack or pack in general, just for them to have it where it's half and half. So we can't even have a full pack dedicated to just Black culture. I was hoping more of a pack dedicated to just African Americans or their culture background, Dubai, all these other places. Like, there was a lot of inspiration that they could have done with this pack, and it's really disappointing just to see how we were only able to acquire or get scraps. And for people who are trying to praise this or trying to say like you're being ungrateful for not being appreciated for what you get, is the reason why we're set back in The Sims 4 with diversity to begin with. And it's not just with diversity, it's with all things with The Sims 4, just accepting the bare minimum and trying to excuse the fact that The Sims 4 could have and should have done more, but chose not to. But just because that they even put it in there to begin with, we're supposed to be grateful for it. Like, that's not how that works. It's either you go big or you go home. And EA has never gone far enough for me to put forth any effort when it comes to adding diversity. And when they try to or attempt to, they want to monetize off of it. And I say all this to say that the expansion pack that was released was definitely disappointing for a lot of reasons. And the fact that people are trying to excuse this as at least getting something is beyond me, because for a game company that has been out for over a decade now is still struggling to include diversity in its game after years and years of being out just proves where EA's mind and money are going to right now. It's not going to including more races or having a pack solely dedicated to African Americans alone. And if you're one of the people who are praising it and trying to justify this, that, and third for the new pack and all, trying to make excuses basically for EA, you are the problem, and I need you to stop. Praising the bare minimum should never be an option, especially for a company like EA that has made millions off of The Sims 4 alone after being out for over a decade and still can't include the basic necessities for a simulation game. You cannot make yourself in The Sims 4 base game without packs or CC. And I just feel like that's the same with all races. You cannot accurately make your sim self without packs or CC. There's just not enough content in the base game of The Sims 4 to accurately make an African American or make your sim self look like your sim self. Like, obviously it's not going to look 100% accurate, but the fact that I can't even be able to make myself in The Sims 4 without packs or CC is crazy. And with that being said, let me know down below your thoughts and opinions on this whole situation. What do you guys think? I'm curious, and I'm going to leave it off right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye.